Let me just read two of that. Now, among his key recommendations are aligning oral with national interests, public naming and shaming of anyone who tries to obstruct justice, and prosecuting those who attempt to cut deals for looters. He also advocates for an independent oversight body to ensure transparency. So, if you want to get a 10-point, recommendation, you may want to grab today's New Republic and read it. But so, Edem, yes, what do you know about this issue?
Well,
first of all, do you know the people?
No, certainly not. But let me also commend our General Secretary for the honesty. He was brutally honest when I listened to his presentation. Rather than see this as a negative, I see it as the General Secretary, the Chief Executive Officer of the NDC, our structures, the head of the party's administration is the General Secretary. And it is the party that gave birth to the government. Eventually, it is not government that will be on the ticket in 2028. It will be the party.
Right.
And so, as a party officer or official, as a principal party official, he has a responsibility to ensure that at all times, the party is protected, the party's ideals are protected, and the values that we stand for as a party are protected. And so I have no doubt that the General Secretary's comments, remarks at the just ended NDC Lawyers Conference are geared towards improving even the electoral fortunes of the party, are geared towards protecting the party, because eventually, even though it is the party that gave birth to the government, the performance of the government will have an impact on the performance of the party going into 2028.
Right.
And the difficulty for most parties is that when in government, it becomes very difficult to separate the party from the government because there are thin lines. For example, as we speak today, most of the officers of the party have been given executive appointments. Mm-hmm. And so, in 2028, they cannot go back to the people and say, oh, that was government. Now we are here as a party. Because the same individual, the same people playing these roles. And so, he has that responsibility to always make sure that the party is put in check. And I do not find anything wrong or awkward or weird about his remarks. Really. It was a caution. And it's a caution that we all know these things exist. We know because in our system, pastors, chiefs, community leaders, and people, influential people from all walks of life, usually try to intervene in such cases. But even at the local level, when people are arrested, in fact, this weekend I was dealing with a case where some young people committed an offense and were arrested, and the families organized Sunday dawn. They were in my house, coming to plead with me as MP, to plead with the police so that they will be granted bail and all of that. So we all know that in our system, where influence, so chiefs, pastors, religious leaders, and across board, these things where they plead for people, even when people are arrested, we all know that even when people are arrested, don't you listen to or don't we know of they're very big, they're very influential, and they don't necessarily have to be politicians.
Yeah,
mostly. They don't necessarily, mostly they are not even the politicians. So the General Secretary is only encouraging the AG. And Moro, I know Dr. Ayine, among all of us, even in Parliament, those who have worked closely with him, everybody attests to the fact that the gentleman is not one of the people that you can push around. If he says he will prosecute you, if he has a case, he will. And one of the reasons why I recall, and I have to say this on air, that about 3 months ago, we met in Parliament, and I asked Dr. Ayine that, Doc, it appears people are thinking that oral is being slow. And he gave me a response that I consider very profound. And I will say it on air. He said, bro, I don't want to rush and go to court and lose cases. That will be damaging to oral more than a delay. And I am preparing, these were his words, watertight cases such that by the time we get to court,
you can win.
it's because in a criminal, when it comes to criminal cases, it is basic that you must prove beyond reasonable doubt. So he said, look, I am preparing watertight dockets on all the cases. And so by the time we start the prosecutions, we will not go. And we know in this country in the past, there have been several instances where government takes similar cases of corruption, even when very gargantuan amounts were involved. But on technical basis and some frivolous basis, government lost those cases. And those individuals were set free. And he said he is preparing watertight evidence such that when he goes to court, everybody will be convinced that it's not it is neither witch hunting nor just an attempt to satisfy. And so he was working on them. Everybody knows that Dr. Ayine is not somebody that those pleas from either chiefs and big people in government, ministers and co could get to. The General Secretary knows that, so he was only encouraging him to be firm, to continue being resolute. So I don't see this as an expose, because we all know, you see, sometimes, bro, we behave as though it is the first time we are hearing that people try to interfere or intervene when others are being prosecuted. So the General Secretary, like I said, as the Chief Executive Officer of the party, was only admonishing his appointees, was admonishing the lawyers that, look, let us not forget that Ghanaians voted for us because they wanted us to do things right. So those individuals who all of a sudden are trying to cut deals, so he was admonishing us to stay resolute. Moreover, again, I have said on your platform before that the NDC, just like any political party, is a human institution. Okay. It is not possible to have 100% of NDC members aligned on an issue. Again, as we are here, we have friends, relatives in other political parties and in other institutions. We have friends. Okay. There are people in NDC whose twin brothers are in the NPP.
True. But Edem, let's watch this video and I'll come.
I wish I could conclude. Yes.
Yeah, sure. You talked about, people's relatives being in different parties. Let's watch this video before Edem continues.
If it's to be done, it must be done well. And to be done well means it has to be thoroughly done, proper due diligence. The job must be properly done. And you are the lawyers, so you should know. If you say righteousness and justice should be the foundation, it must be. So you cannot in one breath be making proclamations that are condemning those who are on the other side, while you yourself are part of the system that wants to subvert the same laws and the same constitution, the same rights things from being done. So you should be the first point of making sure things are done properly. That's the only way we can establish a society that will be truly great and strong. My first point. My second is this. And Attorney General, I'm sure the pressure is mounting. We at the level of the party are picking the signals. And the signals we are picking is this. That many among us, in spite of the further pleas and the pressure coming from the public that the things have to be done properly, punishment must be exacted, and things have to be done, some among us are busy trying to cut deals with people who are supposed to be prosecuted. Some among us are trying to cut deals. Some are becoming conduits through whom pressure is being brought to bear on people who are supposed to do what is right. I'm not mentioning names. A time may come where we may have to. A word to the wise. Some know themselves. Those who are. We are hearing your names. Think again. Because this victory was achieved largely because the people of Ghana wanted the right things done. Some know themselves. Those who are. We are hearing your names. Think again. Because this victory was achieved largely because the people of Ghana wanted the right things done. Not for deals to be cut. For them to say, okay, now that we are on the other side, we cut deals so that tomorrow you also can get a deal cut. No, it won't happen. If it's to be done, it must be done well. And to be done well means it has to be thoroughly done, proper due diligence. The job.
Well, if it must be done, then it must be done well.
Fantastic delivery. So I was surprised. In fact, because I was busy in the constituency over the weekend, I came, I read people on social media writing, the General Secretary misspoke and other things. I took my time,
How did he miss?
looked for the video, and I watched it over and over again. And I said that the General Secretary deserves a standing ovation. And this may be strange only to people who do not know Fiifi Kwetey. Fiifi has always been a very principled leader, very principled gentleman. Principled in his convictions that public service and public officials must have integrity at all times. And he has maintained that. And that is why he's bold enough to speak about these things. And he must be applauded. He deserves the commendation. I don't know why anyone would want to have an issue with what he said. He actually said, if it must be done, it must be done well. It must be done, a thorough work must be done. And he said, people are busy trying to cut deals. Why? Is it strange? Is it the first time we are hearing that?
Right.
When people are arrested, chiefs, very big chiefs, pastors, and other influential people in society attempt to intervene on their behalf.
Right.
We have even heard audios. We've heard audios where, big people, try to intervene in similar cases. I'm on Metro TV, so I can say. Recently, when Paul Ochi was invited by Yoko, when he came out, there was a video where he was commending people who tried to intervene or stood by him. He mentioned chiefs, didn't he? He mentioned big politicians. He mentioned pastors. And so the Honorable Fiifi Kwetey only cautioned that in the NDC, as a party, we will not accept that. And so those who want to be cutting deals, he was cautioning them not to proceed. He was cautioning them to stop because they will be exposed. So he deserves the commendation, and we need leaders like him in our public space.
Let me ask you this, Edem.
Yes.
So I'm the chief scribe of a political party. I'm
Yes.
privy to some information. I am being made aware that Kwame, Efia, Kwejo, Nanaba, whoever, and it's just for the sake of argument, I'm not saying
Yes.
these names, yes, are making an attempt
Yes.
to interfere with justice or to interfere with prosecutions. Isn't that in itself a crime? So that shouldn't have Fiifi Kwetey submitted a list of these persons who are doing this to the appropriate quarters for them to be dealt with beyond the public pronouncement?
Moro, what the General Secretary said clearly, you can deduce from his speech that he was sending a word of caution. It does not mean that he, as General Secretary, is privy to all the names or privy to the people who are involved in this. But he's speaking out of experience. He knows.
In fact, when you watch the video,
Yeah, he says some among us are trying to.
Yes. And he says that
And
if they don't stop
yes,
at the right time, he will start exposing people.
So that's what I'm saying. That
so the impression I get is that he knows them.
And so he may not even be privy to everybody. Maybe some have been brought to his attention. All this. That's what I think. That some have been brought to his attention. Maybe it's just 2 1. So he's sending a word of caution that we will not tolerate that.
Okay.
I think that it is right. And even when in a case of defamation, for example, the law permits that initially you ask the person to retract, you caution. If the person refuses, apologize, retract before you proceed to go to court. So basically, he's just re-echoing the party's position and the party's no tolerance for corruption.
Okay.
I think that the General Secretary must be commended for his speech at the lawyers' conference. Again, that should be an encouragement to everybody out there that we have a party that will not condone wrongdoing.
All right.
And we have a leadership that will not accept for our values to be debased in the way we have seen in the past by others.
All right.
Fiifi Kwetey deserves a commendation for his principled stance on these issues.
All right.